to Sibling Wisdom, Thus Life, Episode 1.
I don't know if that's a good title.
No?
Has anyone got a good title for us? We aren't doing this live because it's our first go, so please drop in the comments any thoughts on what you think our title should be. We're going to be chatting all things health, faith, life, anything else?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
From our personal experiences, we're full of wisdom.
Apparently we're full of wisdom.
We've both lived a wide and varied life. So I think myself personally, having had a very severe stroke a year ago, almost exactly a year ago it is, and it's been a very slow recovery. In fact, my stroke was so bad that the neurosurgeon called all the family in to say goodbye because they did not expect me to make it, let alone recover. I've continued to be told that I will probably never walk again or drive again. I just keep saying I don't believe it. I know I'm going to make a full recovery, and
It's just going to take a bit more work, hey?
yeah, still work on it daily, but I know from coming out of the coma and regaining consciousness, I didn't really recall what was being said to me while I was in the coma, but I know my sisters, Michelle and Thea, were both there talking to me, and my parents and my kids as well, and
Yeah.
all I really recall is Jack being there saying, "It's going to be okay, Dad, we're here." And
Yeah.
Michelle was playing a lot of worship music for me,
Yeah.
and I have developed a very strong faith over the past year because I just knew instinctively that my life was spared by God. He saved me when modern medicine could not. So
yeah, and I think I would like to express my gratitude for the multitude of people who were praying for you through that time. We were calling all the prayer warriors in to pray.
About 8 congregations, I think.
At least. I think there would have been more than that.
Yeah. And some of them are still praying for me to this day.
Because you need it.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, I'm still getting there.
We all need prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think in life as we go through, only when you get a bit older you realise the importance of health and nutrition. We all make a lot of poor choices when we're younger because our body can rebound and combat the ill effects we force into our body. And as we get older, the rebound is not so quick. And but beyond health and nutrition, I think faith and prayer plays a critical role as well because we are created by God, and inevitably over time we need some help to survive some of the ordeals that life throws our way. So for me personally, it's been an incredible journey because I've now developed such a strong faith. I'm going to study to be eventually perhaps become a pastor or an evangelist. I want to share the good word with the people of the world, enlighten people about the impact that God and Jesus can have in their life, because life is truly so much better when we're filled with the love of God, and we see the positives and the possibilities that didn't really exist when we were stuck in a world full of death and destruction, at least that's what we're shown. But there's so much more, so many good things happening all around the world all the time. And we can all play a role in helping share the good message that is hidden from so many people, sadly. But I say sadly, but not really, because we can have a positive impact and we can be the way and the light that is being hidden or sheltered from so many people today.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes back to gratitude.
Yeah,
Just finding the joy in everyday moments, which you've really worked hard at doing that over the last year since you came out of the coma to look for what you can find gratitude in and where the joy is in every day.
I think it's kind of strange that despite the setback and just how far back I've been put to had so much recovery to undertake, I've never felt the inclination to give up. And it's true what Michelle said about gratitude. I have everyday appreciation for the world I live in, and especially family and friends that have continued to support me. And I feel even closer now with family than I did before. Family has always been very important to me, but even more so now. And the same with good friends, they stick by you through thick and thin and help make life better despite challenges. The It's possible to overcome anything if you believe. And I always think now, be guarded with what we believe. Well-meaning people will tell us things that they believe to be true.
There's so much power in our words. There is truly death and life in the power of the tongue, and
Yeah.
just catching those thoughts, catching the words that come out of our mouth, the thoughts that go on through our mind, to continually renew our mind and our thoughts and our words, so that we do speak life and truth, and
That becomes the truth, even if we're not sure if it is at the time.
we speak out what is to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also, just like food, content in media, social media, mainstream media, we must be very cautious what we consume and absorb into our body. That will impact
sure.
our cells through our body, either in a positive or negative sense.
Yeah.
And that's happening when we're not even aware. It's happening subliminally. Just like eating junk food, you don't know the damage it's doing right at the time, but over time it becomes obvious.
Yeah. It tastes good at the time.
It doesn't even taste good to me anymore because
the body doesn't recognize it.
No,
a lot of it as food.
I'm
because it's just
rejecting it.
chemicals. Yeah.
So I guess Michelle and I are both on a very similar wavelength with spirit, and especially the power of God and Jesus. And I was just having a conversation the other day with my pastor, and I said just how much better life seems when you pray and you are uplifted every week by going to church and spending time with your family. At church becomes family, the congregation, like your extended family, and you can feel a sense of power when you're in that presence with like-minded people.
Is it the presence of God that you're thinking?
I think so. But
yeah, it's a beautiful feeling for those of you who haven't felt it before, when sitting in church with a bunch of people who are like-minded, all worshipping the same God. It is a very powerful sense that just surrounds. There's just really beautiful
and even
such
the
joy.
Worship music. I go to church every Sunday and will down to the altar and be close to the band. You can feel the waves coming over you and just soaking in
the presence. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. What else are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think nutrition is a really important one for me
Let's
being a
talk
farmer.
about let's talk about the food in hospitals.
Real food, real food is what our body needs and our body understands and connects with.
So the dietitians in the hospital believe they were feeding you real food. There's a few little things that they,
It was interesting though when at the end of my stay,
yeah,
very different to what I was being fed when I said what I was going to cook at home. The dietitian was very happy with my choices. She was like, that's a good idea. Yeah, that'll be great for you. But in a hospital, sadly, a lot of processed, over processed, and
so they use margarine, which you discovered.
oh
They were using margarine. They were using vegetable and seed oils to cook
yeah,
everything in. A lot of highly processed carbs. There was times when Greg was finding it difficult to eat, and all they would force him to eat was dessert, a big cake with lots of
sugar,
custard,
sugar, sugar,
and then
and
getting his fluids up. As long
fruit
as
juice
you were having cordial or juice, they were happy.
and fake sugar cordial.
Yeah. So it's not. There's still. I think there still needs to be a lot of work done in our hospitals for real food.
Only as I started to get better within myself, I could actually drink water rather than the juice or cordial, where our body gets tricked into being addicted to the taste of sugar.
I guess also you were on. You're fed through the nose for quite a while
Yeah, eight
because
weeks.
Greg had a tracheostomy and his airways were collapsing and couldn't swallow food. And so the concoction that was keeping Greg alive, which was great that it was keeping Greg alive, probably turned your whole microbiome just to be craving that toxic mix of sugary, sweet, chemical
Yeah,
food.
because it was only small amounts I was able to have in my system. It was very concentrated. And then when I could start eating food again, my gut had contracted so much I couldn't fit much in there. Actually, when they told me if I don't eat enough food, the first day I could eat again, they said, if you don't eat enough, we'll have to put the tube back down your nose.
Yeah, they threatened that a few times on you, which
I
wasn't very
said,
nice.
no, I don't want that to happen. So I ate too much and then
Yeah.
vomited it back out because I couldn't handle it in my stomach. So, yeah,
So yeah, our gut microbiome is quite. It's such. It needs so much flora and bacteria in there to digest well, and so you hadn't been eating those foods for so long, and then suddenly you eat them, and you didn't have the right digestive enzymes there to break it all down as well.
and also because of the tracheotomy, I developed what they call hospital acquired pneumonia. Was the
Twice.
sickest I've ever been, and I don't use antibiotics unless I have to. But honestly, I would have died if they didn't use antibiotics,
Yeah.
and that would have wiped out all of my
Yeah.
gut microbiome
Yeah.
at the time. But it kept me alive. Again, some of these things were essential because I was such a bad case. They literally threw the whole drug cabinet at me.
Kept you alive though.
Yeah, but I was on 12 different medications, and all of them, yes, keep me alive, but having negative side effects on my body and my organs. So,
So how
yeah,
are you rebuilding it now? We've got
so
broth,
yeah, bone broth
stews.
and stew with vegetables and aiming to source grass-fed organic meat.
And Greg has just removed sugars again. It's really hard once you get addicted to sugars to start to remove them again, isn't it? Because you crave
For
them
me,
and you love them.
it's never been super hard. I think we all experience different levels of addiction. Some smokers are able to quit while others cannot. And sugar is the same for some people, very difficult. I can turn my sugar intake on or off quite easily.
So just a decision.
Yeah,
You,
yeah, just
so
decide.
for
That's
a while,
it.
he wasn't deciding to.
Because it was all I was eating. It's like they were happy. All they cared about was weight gain because I was
Calorie intake.
on so many medications. I couldn't keep losing weight. I had to put weight on. Instead of them saying, let's cut the dose back a little bit because you've lost weight, now you've got to put weight on so the dosage is right. It's a little bit back to front for me, my way of thinking, because we would treat cattle on the farm by weight and we didn't tell them to lose weight so we could treat them. We'd treat them according to their current weight and with the dose rate of whatever drug they required. But again, if our body is capable of fighting so much disease and illness, if only we give it the chance, we rebuild our immune system. So even things like cancer, we can constantly fight off cancer with our food choices and I guess the other thing I'm doing, as well as the stews and the bone broth with a lot of vegetables, I've reintroduced probiotics and prebiotics, and they've made a big difference with my bowel movements. And there's one thing we don't check with people. People are very uncomfortable about talking about poo. This one of the most important things. When I was in the hospital, it was so funny. All the nurses, when I'd go to the toilet, all the nurses would gather around. We'd have a look at the bowl afterwards. It's like admiring a newborn baby. Great job, Gregie. You're going again.
Yeah. Hey, so that's
It
a
took
good
months.
tip. Always turn around and have a look in the bowl afterwards.
It took months for me to get back to normal bowel movements because of the damage I had done to my microbiome and gut lining. And a lot of people these days with different afflictions with their guts is caused directly by the poor food choices.
It is. And a lot of people don't realize that going to the toilet like 2 to 3 times a day is actually very good for you. And if you're going less than once a day, then you do have an issue. And always turn around and have a look. I do love talking about poo in our house because nutrition and health is my thing. And get to know the Bristol stool chart. Have a look at what yours looks like. What does your stool look like? Are you going regularly? And if you're not, really jump in and see somebody who can help you with your health. Yeah, because it's really important. You need to that's a toxic waste. You need to get it out daily, and several times a day is good. Very good for you.
Yeah.
On that note.
Well, it's interesting because on the farm, that was something that farmers would always monitor.
Check the cow's poo.
How the cows are digesting their food. We would look at the poo and adjust the diet if something wasn't right. And interesting was Michelle just said about going multiple times. There's a balance there. You don't want to. Something's out of balance if you're going too often too.
Yeah, that's where the Bristol stool chart comes in. So if you turn around and it's runny or it's little pebbles, there's an issue. Yeah, there's an issue that can be addressed and corrected.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that is enough for our episode number 1.
Yes.
And we will bring you more wisdom again very soon. And it's a beautiful sunny day outside, so I think we might go out and get some more sun. What do you reckon, Greg?
A bit of vitamin D. I always spend about 3 hours a day in the sun.
So good for you. All right, talk again soon.
Bye. Thanks.